Name's Tyree Morrow. I'm one of the lead animators over at Creative Overdose Studios and the president, co-founder of Creative Overdose Studios. We came up with this idea for having a studio like our junior year in college. And so we kind of mapped out how we wanted to do things. We didn't know exactly what we wanted to do. We just knew that we wanted to start an animation company. I know I wanted to do short animation films, and they were on board with it too. And we just kind of just hashed everything out in our apartment on our living room floor. That's pretty much how we came up with the concept of Creative Overdose. And we had a bunch of names before we came up with Creative Overdose. So what ended up happening is we kept doing our research and just was talking to a couple of our professors at school our senior year, and we had a business and animation class where you would come up with a business name and just kind of figure out what you want to do with animation. And so when we presented it to our professor, he was like, that's a really good idea. And we told him what we wanted to do, which was like graphic design, web design, video production, animation, all these other things. And he told us what we would be, which would be a turnkey company. And right when he, congratulated us, we passed the class. And right when he told us that we did a good job and had a really good idea and that we should do it, he said, you guys would be my competitor. And he said it'd be friendly competition because he did short films and he also did some graphic design works and projects on the side too. It's just that we would have been doing a little bit more than him, which would be like the web design and production and motion graphics and stuff like that. I think when you get your first client or your first project, or actually your first big client, because we had a lot of stuff where it was like a lot of little things here and there. But when you get that first big budget client, that's when you're like, yo, it's real. It's real. Like, we're really doing this. We're out there. We're known in Atlanta. So it's like, we're a small studio, but I think it's just real when people like recognize you. You tell them what you do and you say, oh, Creative Overdose, and they're like, oh, I've heard you guys. I visited your website, or I've seen this, or I check you guys out. That's when you know it's real. I remember we were invited, after graduating from the Art Institute, we were invited back to do a panel and talk to the students about working in animation and how to get in the door and all this stuff. And one of our instructors, actually two of our instructors, were on the panel as well, and they were like, we're really proud of you guys. He said, out of a lot of people that we went to school with, he was like, you're the only ones that did it yourself, that really didn't work for anybody. You guys had your jobs, but you've done your own. You created your own business, and you're doing it. And he's like, that was mind blowing in itself. That was mind blowing in itself. That'll be like, yeah, we're actually a legit studio. We're a legit business. I mean, we knew we were working and doing stuff, but when he said that, or when both of them said that, we were like, holy crap, yeah, we are. We did. We are a business. Like, it's real. We had students coming up, giving us their demo reels, and then talking to us, and have people asking us about positions and stuff, and then just giving them feedback on the industry and how we do it, how we're in it from an entrepreneur perspective. So it was that's when it hit me. That's when it hit like it was real. Draw and do your research if you want to go into animation. There is no shortcut. Do the work. It's fun. You might do it as a hobby, but understand that it's still work. There's no shortcut. Like, you can't just draw one day, draw every once in a while. It's like, no, there's so many things you have to learn. Anatomy, shape language, just draw and do your research, talk to people in the field, and figure out what type of animation you want to do. I mean, you might not want to do character animation. You might want to do effects animation. You might want to do 3D animation. You might want to do motion graphics. There's so many different parts of the animation industry that you can get into. You might just want to do layouts. You might want to do storyboarding. All that stuff. When you say animation, those are things that people don't think about, the whole process of making animation. So I would say do your research, figure out exactly what you want to do in animation, and then study that. Talk to people that are doing what you want to do. And no matter what, even if it's 3D, you have to draw. So draw all the time, every day, no matter what. And have fun with it. Have fun with it.